Her limbs were crushed beyond repairs. The doctor suggested amputation, but Madame Ngozi refused. And due to demand, I had to bring back the concluding part. Thank you for the love, guys. Thank you for the feedback. I truly appreciate it. And here it is. Chinwe sighed heavily. Her mind weighed down, and she couldn't even put it into words. Her mother, noticing the change in her daughter, gently asked, Chinwe, what's going on? Since you woke up from the coma, you haven't been yourself. I understand you're still recovering, but these had been days now. You're not your usual chatty self. I can count the words you've said to me, and you haven't been eating well either. You need to eat to regain the weight you lost. Chinwe nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. I'm trying, Mom. I just don't have much appetite. Just then, Dr. Amin entered the room. Good news, we are discharging you today, he said with a smile. We've observed you for a few days now, and you are fit enough to go home. Chinwe and her mother exchanged relieved smiles, thanking the doctor for his care. Her mother insists that she stays with her for at least a week, ensuring that Chinwe completed her medications and regained her strength before returning to work. As the day came for Chinwe to leave, she packed her things, and just before she left, her mother called her over for a talk. Chinwe, her mother began. The past few weeks has been an eye-opener for me. I've learned how important it is to stay close to God and to take our spiritual life seriously. I want to urge you to do the same. Take your spiritual life seriously and live with caution, my daughter. Chinwe nodded in agreement. They hugged tightly, and with that, they said their goodbyes. Chinwe's first day at work was filled with anxieties and emotions. It felt like she was facing life all over again. Her experience in the hospital had left her scared, as if she were walking on eggshells. The confident, lively Chinwe everyone knew was now subdued. Her usual energy suppressed. She had become overly cautious, constantly worried about every little thing she did. But her co-workers were thrilled to see her again. They had decorated the reception beautifully, and as she walked in, they handed her a stunning bouquet of flowers. Even though Chinwe was known for her fiery spirit, it was clear that she was deeply loved and missed by everyone at the bakery. She thanked them all, telling them how much she appreciated that they had kept the business going smoothly while she had been in the hospital fighting for her life. She made sure to thank the security guard, Oga Musa, too. I can't thank you enough, Oga Musa, Chinwe said. You saved my life that day. If you hadn't been so quick to act, I might not be here today. Everyone in the room nodded in agreement, showing their gratitude to Oga Musa. The day before, Chinwe had spoken with Chuka, who had surprised her by continuing to check up on her even though she had fired him before her admission at the hospital. I was so impressed, Chuka, she told him. You didn't have to do that, but you still came to see me even while I was in a coma. Chinwe then asked, Are you still interested in working at the bakery? Chuka smiled and accepted her offer, promising to return. Seeing Chuka at the reception made Chinwe even happier. It felt like the start of a new chapter at the bakery, and it was a joyful moment for everyone. Later that day, Chinwe sat down with the accountant and reviewed the team's performance. She was blown away by how much her staff had done in her absence. They had truly outdone themselves. To show her appreciation, she decided to give each of her employees a special bonus. You all worked so hard while I was away, she said, and I want to thank you for the dedication. She even handed Oga Musa an extra envelope of money, just to show him how much she appreciated everything he had done for her. Oga Musa's face lit up with excitement as he accepted the money. Thank you all, madam. I appreciate it, he said, clearly thrilled by her gesture. It was a day of gratitude and celebration at the bakery, and Chinwe couldn't have felt more blessed to be back with her team. Whenever Chinwe received any cake order that required molding, it made her a little scared. The task brought back painful memories. One day, a client asked for a cake designed like a chef's kitchen, with a chopping board and knives molded into the cake. Chinwe had to talk the client out of it and suggested a different design that the client eventually liked. She feared that the knife would somehow come to life and something terrible might happen. Madam Ngozi, as wicked as ever, was out on a Saturday evening walk to exercise. As she passed by her neighbor Foluke, who was enjoying music through her earphones and was busy on her phone, Madam Ngozi called out to her, "Happy weekend, my dear daughter." But Foluke couldn't hear her. She had her earphones in, completely lost in her music. Madam Ngozi, frustrated at being ignored, snapped, "You are deaf, right? Well, you will be." She snapped her fingers and instantly Foluke lost her hearing. Confused, Foluke noticed she could no longer hear the music. She tried reconnecting her phone, but there was no sound. As she walked upstairs to her apartment, she noticed an eerie silence everywhere. "Mommy, good afternoon," she called out when she entered her home. But her mother just stared at her, puzzled. "Why are you screaming like that?" her mother asked, looking so confused. Foluke screamed back, "Mommy, I can hear you." "But why do you sound so funny?" her mother said. That was when her mother realized that truly something was wrong with her. Foluke truly couldn't hear. Panic set in as they tried various methods to help her, but nothing worked. The next day, they saw an ENT doctor who found no physical issue with her ears and couldn't explain why she had lost her hearing at this point. Foluke's mother knew something more was going on. As they made their way back home, her instincts told her to pray. She wrote on a piece of paper showing it to Foluke because at this point, Foluke could no longer hear anything at all. "Keep praying, don't stop," she wrote in a paper for Foluke. They prayed together and soon Foluke began to hear faint sounds. Days passed and their prayers continued. And in about 3 weeks later, Foluke could hear again. And both mother and daughter rejoiced with tears of happiness. One Sunday morning, as Foluke was coming down the stairs, Madam Ngozi, peeping through her window, spotted her. She thought Foluke was still deaf, and she came out with the intention to mock her. But to her surprise, when she spoke to Foluke, every word was met with a response. It dawned on Madam Ngozi that Foluke could hear again. Panic filled her as she remembered a warning from the old man that fortified her. "Whoever you cast a spell on must be released by you, or you will lose your powers." Madam Ngozi rushed inside, screaming to herself, "I can't lose my powers. I need it. I really need it. I can't let anyone oppress me. I really need to get back my powers. It's impossible for me to lose this power." In panic, Madam Ngozi got into her car and drove out. Madam Ngozi didn't see the large trailer coming towards her. Her car collided with it. It was a terrible accident, and bystanders had to rush her to an hospital nearby. Miraculously, she was still alive, but her limbs were crushed beyond repairs. All of her 4 limbs. The doctors suggested amputation, but Madam Ngozi refused. "How will I snap my fingers to punish people?" she thought. She couldn't accept losing her hands and legs. Despite the pain, the doctors urged her to focus on her health. "It's a miracle you are alive," they said. "You should be thankful." Days passed, and the pain was so unbearable. Eventually, she agreed to the amputation. Afterward, her self-esteem crumbled. On top of that, she mysteriously lost her sight. For the first time in her life, she felt regret. She realized how she had oppressed people, ruined lives, and lived as if she were a god. She understood that this was her punishment. She cried, overwhelmed with guilt, wondering where to even begin making amends for all the harm she had caused. A deep sigh escaped her. She knew this was the end for her. When Chinwe's mother heard about Madam Ngozi's accident, she decided to visit her. She was shocked to see Madam Ngozi in such a state. "Madam Ngozi, I am so sorry," she said softly. But Madam Ngozi, unable to see, she replied, "I don't know who this is. My eyes don't work anymore." Chinwe's mother gasped. "You can't see too? Oh God," she exclaimed. "It's me, Mama Chinwe." Madam Ngozi, in a weak voice, said, "Mama Chinwe, thank you for coming, oh." Mama Chinwe replied, "Oh no, such a nice woman." And Madam Ngozi replied, "I'm not a nice woman. I'm the most evil person you know." Chinwe's mother couldn't hold back her emotions. "Ah no, don't say that. You're just in pain." She tried to comfort her. But Madam Ngozi insisted. "I know what I am saying. I know. Mama Chinwe, let me talk." In a fit of confession, Madam Ngozi revealed all the evil she had done. She admitted to cursing Chinwe, to the wicked acts she had committed in church, to ruining people's lives, and even to causing the death of innocent children. Chinwe's mother was too shocked to say anything. She opened her mouth but couldn't respond. Overcome with emotions, she left without saying a word. Madam Ngozi continued to scream for forgiveness, but as the days passed, her mental state worsened. She began to experience memory loss and was referred to a psychiatric hospital. She was diagnosed with dementia, and her doctors also believed that she had other mental conditions that weren't fully understood. She became increasingly violent and was restrained with chains. Her life, once filled with power and cruelty, had become miserable. She lived in isolation, her mind shattered by the guilt of what she had done. Chuka, who had always been good at noticing things quickly, he realized that Chinwe was still living in fear. He saw how she avoided certain tasks and was hesitant to take on some jobs she used to do without thinking. One day, he decided to talk to her about it. "Chinwe," Chuka said gently, "I've noticed you are still avoiding certain things. You're not yourself." Chinwe took a deep breath and finally confided in him. "It's just, I'm still scared. I'm afraid that things might come to life after I mold them. It wasn't easy facing a lion. I still get flashbacks. At mere seeing an animal skin print. It is that bad." Chuka listened carefully, realizing that Chinwe was still trapped in her fears. "Chinwe, it's all in your head," he said softly. "I think you need to see a therapist. It will help." Chinwe agreed, and soon she started therapy. Week by week, her fears began to fade. And with Chuka's encouragement, she started pushing herself to do things she had previously refused. Slowly, her courage began to return. One day, while walking together, Chuka jokingly said, "Why don't we mold a lion today?" Chinwe, always quick with her responses, she picked up her bag and said, "I'm closed for the day," and quickly rushed out. They both laughed, the tension between them easing just a little more. As the days turned into months, Chinwe felt herself growing stronger. She was ready to face her fears head on. One morning, she molded a whole zoo. Proud of her progress, she called Chuka from the reception. When Chuka saw the zoo, he couldn't contain his pride. "Wow, Chinwe, I'm so proud of you." Tears of joy filled Chinwe's eyes as she smiled. "Hopefully, this doesn't come to life," she joked, and they both laughed together. Later that day, Chinwe received a call from her mother. "I've been waiting for the best time to share this news to you, but I can't wait anymore," her mother said, her voice heavy. "I need to tell you everything," Madam Ngozi said. Chinwe sighed. Her mother expecting her to react with shock, but was surprised when Chinwe calmly responded, I already know, Mom. And to be honest, the whole thing that has been affecting my mood and self-esteem has been Madam Ngozi all along. But I thank God that I'm back to my real self now. The battle is over. Her mother, relieved to hear that Chinwe had found peace, she said a prayer for her and ended the call. Chinwe smiled, feeling lighter, knowing she had finally overcome her fears. And Chinwe said, an evil person may seem to succeed for a time, but their actions will eventually catch up with them. The harm they cause, the lies they tell, and the pain they spread create a path of destruction that can't last forever. No matter how clever they may seem, their choices will lead to a lonely and painful end, because true peace and fulfillment never come from hurting others. In the end, it's goodness, honesty, and kindness that bring lasting joy, while evil only brings sorrow. Thank you for watching.